name is Eliana Gance. Welcome to Pole Virgins. This channel is aimed at first-time pole dancers and also perhaps more experienced pole dancers who might want to pick up some extra tips and tricks or some drills that they can practice at home. You've just bought your first pair of heels and you want to learn how to walk in them. Wise move. Now this is something that you can practice at home. You don't need to be in the pole studio. You just need a wall and a little bit of space. I'm just in my office in the spare room of my house, and I wanted to show that it is possible to practice this stuff at home. Now for your basic walk, to start with, you've got your standard regular walk. Okay, we're walking down the street, or maybe we're going to the pole studio, we're just cruising, all right? Once you're comfortable sort of doing that stuff, now look, that kind of walk, it's cool, it'll get you from A to B, but it's not really giving you that beautiful, sensual, fluid, gooey movement that we really like to see in pole dancing. Now, please don't worry if you feel uncomfortable doing this at first. I know it felt really awkward when I first started learning. I didn't have a dance background, so all this stuff was super awkward and new for me. And it's totally okay if it feels a bit clunky and weird at first. Just persist, practice, you will get there, I promise. If I can get there, you can get there. Now, for your walk, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to practice shifting the weight in our hips from one side to the other side. So we're going to do our little prance knees, which is a drill that is really good to practice. You just need a wall or something to hold on to and a little bit of space. We're literally just bending one leg and putting the weight onto the other leg. So this is the side view. And this is all I'm doing, is just rocking onto the slope of my shoe and then changing legs. Now, as you do this, I really want you to think about the leg that is bending. I really want you to think of shifting the weight into the foot, the toe of the foot, and dropping that hip. So the leg that is straight, that hip is going to pop up, and we're going to sort of almost crunch that into the side of our body. I'll show you from front on. So I'm bending this leg and I'm popping this hip on the straight leg that's got the weight. And switching legs. So now the bent leg, the weight is in the toe of my shoe to help me balance, and this leg is taking the majority of the weight, the hip is up high. So as we do our prance legs, I just want you to think of shifting the weight from one hip to the other. And as I said, it's okay if this feels a little bit weird at first. And you can absolutely hold on to a wall for support while you're doing this. The next thing I want you to do, once you're comfortable doing that, is to add that into your walk. So we've got our basic walk to the pub that we've got going on, but now we want to add that little hip pop to it. I'm going to take the weight into my right leg, lift that hip, place the left leg, shift the weight into my left leg now, and drop that right hip. Okay, going the other way. So I'm stepping left, taking the weight into my left hip, dropping the right hip, placing the foot forward. Now I'm taking the weight into my right leg and dropping my left hip to come forward. Okay, and we're just going to alternate that as we walk along our little wall here, stepping right, taking the weight into that right hip, dropping the left hip. Stepping left, taking the weight into the left hip, dropping the right hip. So just do this a couple of times to get yourself comfortable. Once you're comfortable doing this, the next step is to add a little bit of fluidity to it by brushing the toe of your shoe along the floor. Now it is just a brush. You're not going to gouge a hole in the floor with your shoe. I don't think anyone would appreciate that, especially if you're renting. But what we are going to do is we're going to step on our right foot, take the weight into the right foot, and now instead of just placing the left foot, we are going to brush the floor before we step. And again, we're going to take the weight into the left foot now. Brush the floor with the right and step. Brush and step. And just repeat this a couple of times until it feels comfortable for you. Don't be disappointed if it's not comfortable straight away. It took me quite a while. Brush with the left, brush with the right, brush with the left, and turn around and go the other way. Now when that starts to feel comfortable, you might want to add a little bit of your own style to this by doing something with your hands. Now if you're not sure what to do with your hands, hand on hip is good. Hand on hip works. It is tried and tested. It's simple. It means you don't have to think about it too much. When you're just starting out, that's probably what you would want to do. But when you start to get really comfortable with it and you want to make it your own, you can start to do things with your hands to make it look a little bit prettier and a little bit more exciting for the audience watching. And this is if you're performing at a showcase or maybe just for a special someone. So what I like to do is I like to trace my hand up my body and then just give a little flare. I'm taking my middle finger, not my index finger. Index finger looks a bit weird. Middle finger, like a gymnast. Apparently these are called gymnastics fingers. I'm just tracing a line up my body with my middle finger. When I get to my shoulder, I'm just releasing like, oh no, just magical. And I think that you should feel like you are magical when you're doing this because honestly, pole dancing is really hard. To add all of that together now, we're going to step, brush, and trace. Step, brush, Okay, going back the other way. We're going to step, brush the floor, trace, step, brush the floor, And it just gives it a little something. And if this doesn't feel right for you, don't do it. You can make up your own thing. There are no rules. You can do little twirly hands. You can maybe just come up here and just do some little flirty something, but make it your own. That's the beauty of pole, is you can really make it your own style. And if what I'm teaching you doesn't resonate, you can definitely explore what movement feels more natural and more comfortable for you. I hope you enjoyed watching today, and I hope that this helps you learn to walk in heels a bit more confidently. Thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed the content today, be sure to like and subscribe to Pole Virgins for more tips and tricks aimed at first-time pole dancers. I'm Eliana Gance. Thank you so much. Mwah.